Hi, I'm Bill Tripp. I'm here to take you through the new Bermuda 50. If you look here, you can see a boat that has some of the lineage of the Bermuda 40 and a little bit of the jet boats that Hinckley's been working on so successfully over the last 40 years, 50 years. And our idea here was to combine a fully modern boat, a boat that is a take-you-anywhere kind of boat for sailing inshore and offshore, for cruising and for racing. But a boat that when you're rowing away from the boat on your way into harbor, you look back and you'll feel the idea of boat in its entirety, not just something as a race boat or a bleach bottle cruising boat. I mean, it's something we think will have stand as art and performance together. If you look at the boat, you'll see that it has a counter stern like some of the boats of 50 years ago. It's actually come back in vogue in modern race boats. So for us, it was an advantage. It was something to take advantage of because it gives a wide aft deck, it gives a long water line, it gives a modern look to a boat, and yet it harkens back to something of 50 years ago. If you look back to classic boats of the 1890s, they all had plumb bows. So it's very hard when somebody says to us, well, we prefer a more classic look, because in fact, plumb bows certainly have had a role in classics as well as raked bows. So here's the sail plan of the boat. The sail plan is being done in two ways. One is with a square top for racing enthusiasts. The other way will be done with a triangular main. We have a kind of a neat setup where for people who have a racing main and a cruising main, we can change the backstays so they go from fixed to running. Cruisers won't worry about that. They'll never know that the boat could have a square top main. Here's the deck layout. You can see it's got two cockpit seats that are long enough to sleep on outdoors. It's got quite a bit of space. There's a slightly raised aft deck here that has room for a dinghy below. You can see that it's at this height. So it's still below, but it's not at the same height as the cockpit floor to give some more room in the aft end of the boat for the lazarette. We've chosen to put teak on the upper deck. We've put carbon rails instead of the classic wood rails to still speak to what Hinckley's always represented, but we think this boat's built in carbon, we should do the carbon rails as well. Looking here at this, this layout, it's a classic three-cabin layout. We've got two guest suites aft, we've got a forward suite forward, we've got two heads with showers. This forward area here, the owner's area, has its own ensuite head with a shower. And then in the main cabin, we have quite a big head with a stall shower that converts so it rather like a modern hotel where the shower integrates with the space. We've got a large settee area to port with a table that folds out double, so to be able to fit 6 people around it easily. Opposite, we've got a modern nav area where the aft seat is a navigation area, but opposite you can sit and it can be a breakfast nook, it can be a card table, a cocktail table. And this is what we call the Bermuda race layout. It has a more classic nav station with a double but quarter berth behind it. And then it has upper and lower settee where the backrest here folds out and forms an upper berth. The same on the opposite side of the boat on the starboard side. The backrest will fold out and form an upper berth. And this way, say on the way to Bermuda, you can sleep 4 people in the main cabin. What we've got here is a boat that brings forward some of the classicism that Hinckley has come to represent now. But if you really looked at it through the perspective of time, that classicism was fully modern in its day. We think here that some people will say, well, gee, this isn't really what we thought Hinckley stood for. But in fact, I think it is what Hinckley stands for, because it's technology, it's beauty, it's a modern design that will stand, we think will stand a test of time going forward. And it brings a lot of the aesthetic that the boat had in 1960 and has brought it forward to 2015.